so I'll squash anything that's trying me. I'm like, me versus you, I hope that you know what you're getting into. I got nothing to lose, so you better watch out, can't predict my moves. I'll make you irrelevant, I don't stop till I'm at the top settling. I live here like a local resident, and you know I ain't selling it.
I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you were born to cross. I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you would want to cross. I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you would want to cross.
Round two, I gotta screw loose. I work all night if it's what I gotta do. Who needs sleep when the caffeine's brewed? I don't fatigue, I just have to move. I don't work with others, they just slow me down and my progress suffers. It's not you, it's me, but really I just work much better when I'm free. I don't do things for the hell of it, I do things that I do for the benefit. I make moves that'll make me relevant. I've been telling them, you just gotta work hard, play hard, punch that race card, move fast, take charge, do that, make hard, move past fake cards, lose that hate card, and never give up when the gun goes race start.
I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a
Coming to you live on 2K Sports, this is the NBA. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside my broadcast partners Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. It's great to have you with us. The starting fives for our game. Here are tonight's starting lineups. And as we take a long look here at Kawhi Leonard, guys, what's your thought on him?
A very encouraging start to Leonard's career, Kevin. He's a tough defender, an excellent rebounder, and his offensive game expanded pretty quickly his rookie season as well.
I expect his offense to continue growing, too. His huge hands help him in that regard, Steve. Great nose for the ball, high rate of steals, an expert at stripping it away. So for the Spurs, their last game, a loss to the Bucks.
And you look at the stat sheet from that night, I mean, the turnovers were just glaring. No way you're going to give up the ball as many times as they did and still win.
Well, not unless you play an even tougher brand of defense and force even more turnovers on the other side. That's the only way you're really going to be able to counteract giving the ball to the opponent at your end.
6 on the shot clock. Banked in off the glass. Leonard's got the game going with his first points of the game for the Spurs.
Well, Kawhi Leonard is a do-it-all type of player. I mean, defense, rebounding. His role on the Spurs hasn't been that of a big-time scorer. But he is efficient scoring the basketball. He's just the kind of player that helps you win games at a high level.
And no question, he got bumped on that shot.
Definitely no room for discussion on that one.
And for the Spurs, a team with plenty of scoring. You know, do you think Kawhi Leonard, as we kind of circle him here, could become a big-time scorer in the NBA?
I don't know, because it's a much different deal to play off of other people or being the center of attention yourself. And right now, Leonard is in a terrific position playing off of Parker and Duncan and Ginobili.
The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with the age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent, because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And you look at the research, there is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued, because injuries are more likely if you play tired.
And Doris Burke caught up with Coach Greg Popovich. Doris?
Kevin, he said that the one thing they rely on to keep them in games is they never get thrown off their defensive game plan. He said when we're on defense, we act like the aggressors and take the game at you. We don't sit back and wait, and it helps us to stay focused. Let's see if they can keep that focus here.
All right, great stuff, Doris. Thanks. And guys, not too much of a surprise that defense is going to be the emphasis.
Yeah, that's the type of team they are. I mean, they always seem to feed off of that defense. They're just really trying to attack and force some turnovers and get out and run.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, that's really what drives them on a game-to-game basis.
And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their fourth game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. In that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
And so it's Minnesota with it after the missed 3 from Green. That's good.
The screenplay worked ideally there, and I'm not talking about the screenplay you see in a movie theater. Gave him more than enough room to get that shot off.
Here is Splitter, averaging 13 points a contest. Green kicks to Leonard. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
You know, the more you watch Kawhi Leonard play, the more you realize that he is the perfect fit for the Spurs. I mean, he just looks like a Spur, and he's only been in the league a couple of years. Plays great defense, shoots from deep at a high rate, and really knows, accepts, and embraces his role on the team.
First free throw is good. And back to Kawhi Leonard. Coach Popovich sees him as their defensive stopper on the wing. But not just that. He thinks he's going to be a star in so many ways, Steve.
Well, he could become the face of the franchise, Kevin, if you think about it, once Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili move on. But, you know, Popovich, not one prone to hyperbole, but he absolutely loves this kid.
Now, here's Brewer. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against Philadelphia. It's tipped. It's stolen by Duncan. And Parker, here we go. Here's Smooth. He's coming off a 31-point game against Philadelphia.
And defensively, I mean, he was all over the court, forcing turnovers, putting a ton of pressure on the ball.
Leads him in there. And Pekovic throws it down.
Well, they ran a nice play there, Kevin, to set up the easy dunk.
Yeah, he got help from his teammate and ran his man right straight into the pick.
Yep, and that's the offensive player's job.
That's
Run
right.
him into the screen.
And it was a great pick, too, Clark. I mean, he may have lowered his shoulder a little bit, but he got him pretty clean.
San Antonio with the ball after the basket by Minnesota. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
You know, you survey other point guards in the league and ask them who their toughest assignment is, and a lot of them will tell you it's Tony Parker. I mean, his ability to weave in and out at the speed he does just drives would-be defenders mad over the course of 4 quarters. Parker is always in attack mode.
The first one falls. And Clark, you mentioned the penetration ability of Tony Parker. He really has become the focal point of the Spurs drive and kick offense, Steve. So fun to watch.
Yeah, you talk about his speed and quickness, but it's really all about the overall skill level, the ability to finish it in the lane, the knockdown jump shooting, the free throw shooting also improved. But it's incredible how well-rounded Parker has become.
Is he the fastest point guard, you think, in the NBA?
I would say yes.
And the shot is good.
That was simply a defensive breakdown there, Kevin. He was all alone for that shot. It was a warm-up jumper.
Dishes to Splitter. Green. Kept alive. Out to Parker. Poked loose. With the floater. Goes up again. And it's going to be a goaltending call here, so they'll count the bucket.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
Boris Diaz checked in for San Antonio. The Minnesota Timberwolves come into this one after the win against the 76ers.
And I thought, guys, they were the beneficiary of what was some lackluster defense being played against them.
I agree with you. I mean, it was really shocking how many free runs to the hoop they got.
Williams outside. It's rebounded by Leonard. San Antonio leading. Last time they came together was in Minnesota, where they felled the Wolves.
And in that first matchup, they got absolutely manhandled on the boards, guys. So they're going to have to do a much better job tonight in the paint if they're going to win this game.
That's good. 6 points for Tony Parker.
He had his choice of finishing moves there, and you just got to love the fact he went old school with the finger roll.
Williams passes to Smooth. Left side, Martin. It's stolen by Green. Parker left side. Parker off the pick from Diaw. And here's Green outside, and that one's good. Back to what Steve just said, in terms of rebounding, they did not have a good time of it when they squared off previously.
And once things started to go bad for them, guys, and they did go bad, I mean, they were that much less aggressive on the glass, and that's a no-win formula.
Brewer's shot is off.
Yeah, no excuses there. Got a really good look at the basket after being freed up by the pick.
We say it all the time. The execution was excellent. The result not as good, but good ball movement anyway.
And taking a quick look here at the hustle stats for San Antonio.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
Well, the other thing I like is defensively, they're causing turnovers, and that's allowing them to get into transition.
And he makes the first.
Hey, it goes without saying that if you're beat up and your all-star power forward is on the shelf, you're going to have a tough time against the big teams in the West. Minnesota was left for the wolves, so to speak, when they matched up against others in their conference.
Chase Budinger, he's checked in for Minnesota. Both free throws good from Green. Well, picking up again on the Timberwolves. Last season, 17-35 record against the rest of the Western Conference, which was third worst in the conference. As Steve, you might expect, that's got to improve.
And as you said, I mean, losing so much of their front court as they did last year to injury, it's amazing that they even won that many games. I mean, if you don't have big bodies down low, it's tough to win in the West.
San Antonio leading by 8. Parker kicks to Green. That's good on the jump shot. Green's got 7 points.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
Pekovic with a screen on Parker. Smooth passes to Williams. Pekovic. The basket is good off the assist from Williams.
They are really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
And that's going to open things up for them on the perimeter going forward, Clark.
Now here's Green. He has 7. He dishes it to Leonard. Six to shoot. He kicks to Diaw. Parker outside. From outside the arc. Count the bucket. 9 points in the game so far.
Their offense has really come together immediately, threatening to run away with this game.
It's hard to imagine they'll be able to stay as hot as they've been so far, but if they can, watch out.
Here's Smooth. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. The open shot, Williams. Here's Smooth. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Nice work to get inside and draw the foul.
Yeah, it's obvious. The defense not going to allow many easy layups. They're going to make you earn it from the line. You know, the Spurs really have a cohesive culture, and part of that is something that Greg Popovich has been able to do, and that's being able to join guys together that normally might not hang out. For instance, you had Matt Bonner taking Steven Jackson out to a Coldplay concert last season. One way to help guys get to know each other off the court, and it helps them on the court.
Here's Smooth after the made shot from Mills, and it's Martin penetrating. And Budinger kicks to Martin. Pass to Smooth. There's a screen by Williams to the paint. Here's Pekovic, and it's good off the glass. Pekovic has got his 3rd basket of the night. And back to Popovich and the Spurs, he really makes a point of getting to know his players and have them get to know one another.
That's right, Kevin. He likes to have his players have a sense of perspective about the world. He wants them to know that there are other things going on besides the NBA. In fact, back in 2012, he had the players watching the presidential debates together.
Here's Smooth after the made shot from Green. The feed to Budinger. Outside, Martin. Gives him the lead pass, and the shot is good from Smooth.
Everybody on the floor is hot. Incredible stuff here in the early stages.
tell you what, both teams playing downhill. Who's going to blink first? Well, he's got to watch himself now. I mean, that's 2 fouls already, and he can't afford another one.
Well, one thing you got to watch out with him, he loves that corner three, and that's the easiest three on the court, the shortest distance, about 22 feet. That's his sweet spot.
And you know what else I like about him, Steve? He'll do whatever it takes to help that team out. We've seen him take some absolutely gut-wrenching charges that a lot of other guys would simply avoid.
And the Timberwolves making a change here. And both free throws good for Mills.
They find themselves down here in the first, and a lot of that can be attributed to the early foul trouble.
They set the screen. Smooth passes to Martin. Buries the long-range jumper. Martin's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
D there, guys, was pretty much non-existent. I mean, you can't leave a good shooter like that open.
Smooth pass. Oh, look out!
Even when they're down, he's still looking to do the spectacular. And he pulled it off.
Well, maybe this is the best time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now's when they need a little spark anyway.
Here's Mills. He had a 12-point outing in their last game against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Bonner. And he battles for the ball and gets the second chance bucket. And the Spurs lead by 8.
Well, the defense just looked a little lazy on the glass there.
Yeah, nobody boxing out. That's inexcusable.
Buttinger dishes to Martin. Puts up a 3. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
And that's why teams emphasize the use of screens and picks, just to get you some open looks like that one.
Well, he's certainly not the biggest name or somebody that strikes fear into the heart of coaches, but Matt Bonner is more than serviceable and knows how to be a thorn in the side of other teams. He just sits out on the perimeter, and when he's open, he knocks down threes.
Here's DeCola. Lets it go with the 3. Mills can't hit.
Boy, even though he missed, you can't give up that kind of a look very often.
Yeah, they're lucky that they didn't get burned on that one.
Martin attacking. Smooth passes to Dang. Timberwolves passing it around. And another 3 for Minnesota. And Bonner, the Red Rocket, so deadly with that unorthodox release from the shoulder.
Yeah, 3-point specialist. He helps space the floor for this great offense, and he's got a good feel, too. A good passer and knows where he needs to be defensively.
And some changes here for the Timberwolves. Johnson comes in for Derek Williams. And Ricky Rubio subbed in for Smooth. Minnesota's gone 4 of 5 from three-point land to get things going here in the first. Spurs leading by 4. Tony Parker is out there with Mills. Then it's Splitter. Then there's Jeff Pendergraph. And it's Leonard in at the small forward. That's the San Antonio 5. And Mills kicks to Parker. Passes it to Leonard. Shot clock at 6. He feeds it to Mills. Fires the 3. Can't hit. So Minnesota will take it the other way.
Coach Popovich was fined last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and it was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Hi, guys. Smooth in their last game against the 76ers was superb. He finished with 31 points, and that scoring outburst set a new season high for him in what was a great exhibition on his part. Absolutely incredible numbers from him in a monstrous game.
And thank you, Doris. It was a performance that has to have their upcoming opponents terrified, Clark.
Well, I know this opponent should be terrified because there's a good chance the momentum he gathered that night carries right over into this game.
Well, some of it will carry over. That's inevitable. It's just a matter of how much.
That's good. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, look, I think it's good for him to actually, kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
Puts the lead pass in front of him. Here's the screen. Three-pointer. Brewer's shot is off.
Oh, they're now +5 in the rebound category, really controlling the glass.
And rebounding is one of those non-glamour stats. I mean, it takes work and effort and tenacity and physicality. But when you look at the scoreboard, you can see the correlation.
And Parker, here we go. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. Well, some of the numbers NBA wingmen have been putting up from the field this season are truly impressive. Have a look at the top shooters among them. Well, you look at Leonard, leading the league in field goal percentage. He always gets good looks. And, of course, Corey Brewer.
And that tells you about those players' ability to slash through the defense and get to the hoop effectively, because you have to be getting a lot of layups to have that kind of shooting percentage.
But you also have to have an excellent outside shot, and all of them do it. Small forward, you have to be reliable from the perimeter as well.
Begovic with the screen on Parker. Begovic with a screen. Just 5 to shoot. Williams, that's a two-pointer. Drained for 2 points. Williams has got 6. Spurs leading by 4. Now here's Parker. 11 points for him in that last game against the Bucks in Milwaukee.
Did a great job picking the defense apart, too. It wasn't just his scoring. Give him credit for his passing in that game, too.
Now here's Diaw. Just 3 to shoot. That's tipped. Here's Smooth. 6 points for him on the wing. Brewer gets it to go from beyond the arc. Now just a 1-point Spurs lead.
How about the passing? They are moving the ball without any thought, without any agenda.
It's hard to overstate all the points they've scored on assists today. Beautiful to watch.
Green kicks to Diaw. The dish to Splitter. Good, and it's Diaw with the assist that time. Splitter's got 4 points in the quarter.
The easiest way to do it sometimes is with the bounce pass. Well, Minnesota won 31 games last season, but only 11 of those came on the road. For a team that was battered and bruised heading out on a lengthy road trip is often a recipe for a losing streak, and that was the case for them last year. The injuries just really bogged them down.
Well, picking up again on the Timberwolves, road travel can be especially tough on them just given the geography where their home city is in relation, Steve, to the rest of the NBA.
Well, particularly in relation to the rest of the West, because, there the Timberwolves are up north and kind of in the middle of the country. So they have a lot of long trips. But, look, there are no excuses in the NBA. I mean, everybody's got their own adversity they've got to deal with.
2 on the clock. And the basket by Diaw.
Well, I like the way he orchestrated in tight that time, fellas.
For Minnesota, they've gone 7 of 15 from the field here in the second quarter, just under 50% shooting. Williams kicks to Shved. Now the pass to Smooth. 1:33 left in the first half. Kept alive, Minnesota. And here is Williams. His last outing with 20 points.
How about the story of Thiago Splitter? Let's take a look at some of the numbers. Last 10 games for him have been very nice. 5th in rebounding. And he's also blocked enough shots to put him in the top 15 in that important defensive category.
And Steve, how about his rank in the rebounding department? I mean, the guy is physical, he's strong, and he relishes contact and banging around in there.
Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Boris Diaw. 4 on the clock. Here's Brewer. And once again off the mark by Minnesota.
He's going to play his way right onto the bench and out of the game if he continues to shoot it like he has so far in this quarter.
That's good. Now it's a 4-point San Antonio lead.
As soon as he recognized the height mismatch, he immediately pulled up for the jumper.
As he should. That's a good decision. When he gets a clean look, he's got to take it.
Here's Smooth. He's got 9. Shved. Pass to Smooth. Feeds it to Brewer. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Shved with it. He's against Green. The shot's good from Smooth.
It was a slow start for him, but he started to take off since we hit the second quarter, guys.
Green kicks to Parker. To the middle. Pass to Green. And it's good on the assist by Parker. Parker's got 3 assists now in this one. It's stolen by Green. The 3. Second quarter ends in a tight one. It's the Spurs up 4. Folks, stay tuned for the halftime show at Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Welcome to 2K Sports. The games are starting to take on a little more meaning as the season gets into full swing. San Antonio on top against Minnesota. They're a team in 5th place in the conference standings right now. Tony Parker's dishing it out, and the other team is taking it. He's got 9 points and some nice plays offensively, getting the assists going. And a resilient Timberwolves team is staying in it. And from outside, you couldn't shoot it much better than this. They are scorching hot from beyond the arc. Smooth has been tremendous in the first half. We're at halftime, and still, he hasn't missed a shot. It's been a pure shooting exhibition. And that's all there is for me here in the studio. Time to send you back to my friend Kevin Harlan and the crew for the second half.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. An exceptional performance from Green.
How about his scoring in the first half? I mean, he's looked like a different player out there today.
He really has, Steve. It's been a pleasant surprise for him, that's for sure. I mean, he really hit on something that worked in those first 2 quarters.
On the court for Minnesota. Smooth, he's in at the point. Corey Brewer is out there with Derek Williams. And there's Pekovic, and it's Martin in at the shooting guard position. And he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time, the whistle blowing.
And what an amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. You know, swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled Memphis on their way to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, were seconds away from another championship banner.
Now getting back to the Spurs, they look better and better as they went deeper into the playoffs, Clark. Heat were thought to be the heavy favorites at the start of the NBA postseason. But when they met in the finals, thoughts on who would win, I think, were pretty much split.
Yeah, and eventually, this was one heck of a series because the Spurs not only had experience and talent, but they had multiple options offensively and did such a terrific job sharing the ball. They took the Miami Heat to the limit, but at the end of the day, it came down to LeBron James and Dwayne Wade rising to the challenge. Tony Parker had a phenomenal 2011-2012 campaign, but as is the case with Greg Popovich, he challenged Parker to improve upon that for last season. Popovich told him, good players can be great for a little bit, but great players are always great. And that really resonated with Parker.
And a beautiful feed leads to a monster jam. Tremendous stuff from a guy, Clark, we think more of for his passing.
Yeah, but he's got tremendous leaping ability and a surplus supply, too.
Well, that's a great aggressive move and 2 big points, too.
Here's Duncan following the bucket by the Timberwolves. Tipped away. And now, running up the court, Brewer pushing it up. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Tim Duncan was offended after last year's finals when reporters asked if he'd consider retiring. He said, I can't believe you're asking that question. It's been 5-6 years you're saying we're too old. And guys, it's true. This is a team that's been written off season after season, and they find a way to keep their window open. Coach Greg Popovich said, quote, vacation is overrated. You can only grow so many tomatoes and read so many books. Guys, until they say they're done, you never count them out.
Doris, the Spurs win percentage over the Duncan era, the best of any team in NBA history over a 15-year span. I'd have to agree with you. Now Brewer, Kawhi Leonard missing from long range. Clock at 6. Williams passes to Smooth. Good, great play by Williams to set it up. And now it's a 3-point Timberwolves lead.
Of the last 6 baskets, 5 have come on the interior. This is major smash mouth basketball, guys.
Love it. Old school, just physical play in the paint, dominate.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
And that call gets an instant reaction from the fans.
Well, that's a whistle that did not go over very well.
Here is Splitter. He's got 6. And now Minnesota on the fast break and finished off by Martin.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
Yeah, it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
And the Spurs with possession following the bucket by the Timberwolves. It's Parker with the drive. And let's look now at the group of young players that have been locked in from the charity stripe. Your leading rookie free throw shooters of the past month. Well, you look at Smooth, the best in the NBA. You put him on the line, and it's nearly automatic.
Well, he got locked in at the foul line a few weeks back, and he's stayed that way ever since.
Well, he's got as smooth a stroke as just about any of the first-year guys. I don't think there's any question about that.
Begovic with a screen. Smooth passes to Brewer. And it's off from three-point range. Spurs trail by 6. Green dishes to Leonard. Down to 5 on the shot clock. And count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
Outstanding job there to absorb the contact and guide it in.
That's how you impose your will against the defender. He came to play.
Well, if you're going to learn from someone, you might as well take some lessons from Tim Duncan. That's what Thiago Splitter has done in San Antonio, really kind of growing up under the tutelage of one of the great players of all time.
Boy, the D has to show a little more fight on the interior than they did on that trip. They've got a battle inside.
Well, this game has been tough, Clark. I mean, they're getting after it, and I think they're starting to run a little bit low on energy, possibly.
And Splitter taken 28th by the Spurs way back in the 2007 draft, but they had to wait 3 seasons, Clark, for him to come over from Spain. And as Greg Popovich was saying just this past season, he's finally showing what he can do because he's been healthy.
Yeah, agreed, Kevin, and I think it was a wait worth making,
yes,
quite honestly. I mean, one of the premier backup centers in the NBA the last 3 seasons, and he earned himself a nice payday with his new contract, too.
You know, they've been so effective when they've been able to get the ball inside.
Some real shortcomings from this defense. I mean, they've given up 5 straight looks in the paint.
Now, here's Green. 11 points in the game. Williams with the block. That one touched the backboard first, and it's ruled a goaltend. Count it.
He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
Patrick Mills, he's checked in for Tony Parker. Here's Brewer, and there are the Timberwolves with another bucket. And guys, what do you think about the hustle stats for the Timberwolves?
Their defense has been outstanding, Kevin, closing out on shots, blocking a lot of them as well.
You know, one other area they're doing well in is steals. I mean, they've knocked the ball loose a number of times and been able to track it down after the fact.
Here's Duncan after the made shot from Brewer. Duncan right side. From deep three-point range, and the shot is good. Mills has got 7.
What are they thinking leaving him with all that space out there? Do they not know? Have they not heard that this guy is unbelievable? That's a layup for him.
Here's Smooth. He's got 17. And that basket's going to count, folks. Gets the goaltending call right there.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
And that call gets an instant reaction from the fans.
Well, that's a whistle that did not go over very well.
And the Spurs making a change here. Bellinelli's checked in. Now, here's Green, averaging 8 points a game. And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
There's 6 points on consecutive 3 balls. They're finding holes in this defense.
It should be easy to correct, though, if you start making the right rotations defensively.
That's good.
This is great. 3-pointers going down quickly at both ends.
Yeah, it took them no time to answer back on that possession.
Splitter kicks to Leonard. He passes to Bellinelli. Back to Leonard. Dishes it to Bellinelli. Leonard. From deep. Excellent D there from Corey Brewer. Timberwolves leading by 5. Begovic with a screen. Outside Williams. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
So nice to have a guy like that who can take charge at any time.
Yeah, so many of his passes, Steve, have led directly to baskets.
Mills with it. He's got 7. Outside Leonard. Kicks to Bellinelli. Back to Leonard. Spurs passing it around. Mills. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Let's take a moment now, Kevin, to see how the Spurs are doing in the NBA statisticals currently. 3rd in free throw percentage, 8th in field goal percentage, and they're in the top half of the league in scoring as well. Not too shabby.
Well, and you talked about the free throw shooting. That's what jumps out at me, Clark. And when you shoot well from the foul line, it allows you to close games so much easier because those are easy points, and you get your defense set up at the other end because the clock is stopped.
Now, here is Martin. 15 points in the game.
Almost surprised that he had that much room to work with.
Teardrop shot, and it's blocked by Brewer.
I think the game plan needs to change here, guys, if they're going to get out of the hole because he is not helping their offense.
There's the bucket. Good. 19 points for Smooth.
This is some kind of performance we're seeing from him today. He has yet to miss a shot.
Bellinelli passes to Leonard. He dishes it to Mills. He drains it as the shot clock ticks down. Mills has got 11 points. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out west. Already we're in December. Taking a look at Minnesota. Here in the early part of the season, they've acquired the 3rd best record in the conference. And, of course, San Antonio, 2.5 games back.
You know, right now for the Timberwolves, they've actually taken the NBA by storm since the season kicked off. They put themselves right in the mix with the league's top teams when most people thought they'd be bottom feeders.
And I know it's early, Clark, but the way they've looked, I think they'll be in that mix all the way to the end. Clearly, he's shaken off that cold shooting performance of the first half.
There's a screen by Williams. Into Begovic. It's rebounded by Splitter.
That's some more rugged play from them inside. They have a decent edge in rebounds thus far.
And that hard work on the boards needs to continue. That could be what swings this game eventually. Boy, he found the perfect spot behind the arc there. Big gap in the defense.
Williams dishes to Begovic. Back to Williams. He kicks it to Brewer. Now the feed to Martin. With the lead pass. And the layup is good after a nice lead pass. And that's 21 points for Smooth.
And as hot as he's been this quarter, the game plan should be simple. Get him the ball and get out of the way.
Splitter gets the screen from Bellinelli. Knocked loose. Here we go, one-on-one. Here's Smooth, and he dunks it down. The defense looking a little bit dazed now. A ferocious throw down there.
Not bad for a player of his size.
Not bad at all. How about that spring coming out of those legs?
And here's Green outside. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
Well, you know, when they need a big 3, he's the guy they look to. He's about as reliable a deep threat as you're going to find.
And, you know, this is the other thing about him. He's very sophisticated as a one-on-one defender. No matter who he's matched up with, he consistently takes away their number 1 strength.
Minnesota with the ball, following the 3 from Green. And that one's good, Begovic.
4 of their last 5 makes came off of a high-quality shot inside.
Yeah, that's textbook basketball, just having their way down low.
Here's Mills, 13 points in the game. 3 trips to the line so far for him in this one. And the first one drops. And the Spurs with some changes. Duncan comes in for Splitter. And Corey Joseph subbed in for Bellinelli.
You know, he's as close to a sure thing as you can possibly have when he steps to the line.
Picked by Williams. Smooth passes to Martin. Green with the block. go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Thank you, Kevin. Tony Parker and teammate Boris Diaw have known each other since high school back in France. Boris says of Tony, quote, he's a point guard who can do it all. He can be an organizer and make the team play. Other times, he's going to be a scoring point guard. It's pretty rare to have both. And guys, Coach Popovich talked about how Parker's decision-making has matured as far as reading when to pass and when to score. He's found a great balance as the years have gone on, guys.
He can do it all, Doris. Pass, shoot, special talent.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
One of the holy grails, if you will, for statistical achievement is to put a quadruple double on the books. Duncan came close in the 2003 finals, but he also came fairly close to it last year as well. 31, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 blocks.
There you go. That's the stroke we saw in the first half.
San Antonio's gone 4 of 6 from three-point land since the start of the second half. And Joseph kicks to Duncan. Passes it to Mills. And he feeds it to Joseph. 6 on the shot clock. A 3-ball. And again, it's the Spurs from deep. You know, Steve, you talk about big games for Duncan last season. Don't forget the game against Utah with 21 rebounds, 22 points, 6 blocks. He was incredible.
Yeah, he's the first player 35 or older to post a 20-20 in 5 games since 2001 when, ironically enough, his old teammate David Robinson reached that mark. So something's going on down there in San Antonio, I guess.
Now Joseph. Duncan with a screen on Martin. Outside Leonard. Into Tim Duncan. Now the dish to Mills. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3. Clark and Steve, neither side has relented a bit in this back-and-forth affair.
Well, 8 lead changes, Kevin, so far as the teams are battling it out here in the third.
That's all building towards what could be a great finish. This will be fun to watch.
And the game still closely contested as we end the third quarter.
On stands now. Grab the latest issue of 2K Style Magazine. Smooth, the cover athlete.
All right, the fourth quarter of action getting underway. We've had a great one so far with both sides coming to play. All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Spurs.
But they're rebounding. They've given themselves a lot of second chances, and it's really helped them.
And the other thing they're doing is they're forcing turnovers and then converting those miscues into points at the other end.
Okay, now let's reset our lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this fourth quarter. On the court right now for the Spurs, we've got Kawhi Leonard. Tony Parker is out there with Corey Joseph. Then it's Green, and it's Duncan in at the center position. Down low, and he makes it look easy, dunking it hard with one hand.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
Right side, Green. Outside, Leonard. Shoots from the high post. They get it back. Duncan. And a good offensive board. And he gets the bucket. And the Spurs lead by 4.
They've clearly been the better team on the glass, but it hasn't necessarily translated to the scoreboard yet.
But you feel like it's going to reward this team at some point. They've got to continue to maintain the energy.
Martin, the pass to Smooth. Picked by Williams. And Parker, here we go. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
And the Timberwolves having lots of trouble defending against Parker.
12 points, and some of his offense coming at the foul line with 5 points there.
Yeah, 5 pretty big points, Clark.
Splitters checked in for the Spurs. Outside, Martin. The pass to Smooth. Leonard with the steal. And a fast break now for the Spurs.
Look out. Watch out.
Oh, and there's the one-handed jam. Wow, and that sort of showmanship is just deflating right now to a team trying, Clark, to get back into this game like this?
Yeah, definitely a jam with emphasis. A big apostrophe or exclamation point. How about maybe even a question mark, partner?
Well, you know what the questions are about now? It's their defense, that's for sure.
And out of bounds as the Timberwolves gain possession. And a quick look now at how San Antonio's schedule is shaping up. They'll be off next to Utah for a meeting with the Jazz. That sets in motion a 4-game road trip for them. Timberwolves trailed by 8. Outside, Martin. Pass to Williams. Here's Smooth. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. And a moment now to check out who Minnesota has coming up. Up next for them, the Grizzlies. At the FedEx Forum. That matchup falls in the middle game of this 3-game trip. Fourth quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Green dishes to Parker. Feeds it to Leonard. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Martin against Green. Leonard. Shot clock at 5. Right side, Leonard. And it's slammed in by Splitter. That gives him a double-double in this one. 10 points and 10 rebounds.
Well, he won that battle, and in general, they're winning most of the battles tonight.
Well, those are some very easy points if you can get them.
Well, and like Clark said, they have been getting them, not necessarily all on putback dunks, but a lot of second-chance opportunities.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Hi, Kevin. I was able to hear the advice Rick Adelman gave to his team during that break. He was riding them pretty hard for the number of silly fouls they've committed in this game. He said, listen, we need to have some defensive discipline. Stop fighting on the shot fakes, stop reaching in, and stop giving them free points at the free throw line. We'll see if they'll respond, guys.
Well, for Derek Williams, the number 2 pick in the 2011 draft, he didn't play huge minutes for the Timberwolves his rookie season. But with Kevin Love out with the injury last season, Williams did play a lot at that 4 spot. And he was hoping for a breakthrough season, but just did not happen that way.
And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession.
Now, that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome. We've got about 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter.
His shooting percentage has really fallen here in the second half. You've got to find the range again, guys.
On back to Derek Williams, billed as a great scoring forward. Clark out of Arizona. You can see he has a nose to score, but the percentages so far haven't played out in his favor.
Kevin, only 43% from the field last season, a below-average rebounder as well, so to realize his potential, he's got to be more efficient offensively.
Knocked away. Duncan kicks to Parker, tries from 16, and he lays it straight in. Splitter's got 4 points this quarter.
Boy, they've really dominated on the glass, and of course they've done a lot of good things here tonight, but the rebounds have played a major factor.
Hey, Steve, you know rebounding always one of the key barometers in determining the victor.
Williams covered by Parker, and that's out of bounds. Minnesota will retain possession.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
Here's Smooth. Count that one. Smooth's got 16 here in the second half.
Well, you know, he has shot the ball well, but it has not been contagious. And his teammates, they haven't had the same groove, and that's why we're looking at this result so far.
And Smooth is going to pick up the foul. That will be foul number 5 on him.
Boy, it's been a tough go in terms of fouls for him. I mean, my goodness, he can't stay out of the way of fouls.
And it's out of bounds. The Spurs able to retain possession here. Outside, Green. That one a little long.
He's one guy the defense is not afraid to leave open from that range, and for obvious reasons. You see the defenders get out of his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the bucket, but not that time.
Leonard, the pass to Green. Splitter dishes to Green. 6 to shoot. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2.
Boy, this is a neat story, guys. Danny Green was undrafted out of North Carolina. And another nice find for perhaps the best organization in all of sports, the San Antonio Spurs. He's an excellent three-point shooter, over 40% from three-point range for his career. He helps that team spread the floor, and that energizes their high-powered offense.
The 19-footer is on the money. And that's now 18 points for Williams.
And this game is really heated up. I didn't think it could get any more high scoring than it already was.
Well, there's always room for more offense, Steve. You know that.
Green kicks to Parker. Here's Splitter. They shoot again. And that one's good. Parker. And the Spurs lead by 11.
I'll tell you what I love about him. His ability to finish even while absorbing contact. He is so strong. Even with defenders hanging all over him, he continues to finish at the basket.
And that's not all there is to say about him, Steve. I mean, he also is a master of the pick and roll. Get the ball in his hands and set a screen for him, and there will be an easy bucket after it.
And Green, nice versatility, too. Not just an outside shooter.
No, he's an excellent defensive player. In fact, Greg Popovich calls upon him to often guard the opponent's best wing player. So for Green, a two-way player, a guy who can get it done at both ends of the floor.
Outside, Martin. Pass to Smooth. Into Pekovic. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
That's how to orchestrate for your teammate. Terrific pass.
Spurs leading by 7. Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over.
Well, they were getting tired out there. A quick timeout gives them an opportunity to catch their breath.
Duncan, the pass to Parker. Shot clock at 6. Can't connect from short range.
They've been able to get out to this lead without really getting a very reliable performance out of him from the field.
The kick out to Williams. Connects from three-point range. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back. Now here's Parker. He's tightly guarded. Loses the defender with the screen and drills the jumper.
Great job of utilizing that screen and finding space to knock down the jumper. Good basketball.
Williams attacking. Makes the lead pass. Pass to Pekovic. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Great open look there. Brewers got 11 points here in just the second half.
He's showing no signs of letting up here.
Outside, Green. Dishes to Splitter. Back to Green. Outside, Leonard. He passes it to Duncan. Pulls it from the elbow. And that one's good. Duncan's got 4 points this quarter.
That's a clean look they gave him there, fellas, and he drains those.
Smooth passes to Martin. Here's Smooth, guarded by Green. Williams, a screen on Parker. Double clutches. Rebound by Tony Parker. Parker's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Green. Leonard attacking. Kicks it to Parker. Rejected by Pekovic. He dishes it to Martin. Right through the D for the layup. Martin's got 20.
I think they need to get much more disruptive defensively. They can't just keep allowing these easy baskets.
I agree. They need more energy in the post, maybe some double teaming. They've got to get their defense in gear.
Duncan can't hit. Timberwolves trailed by 3. Smooth passes to Brewer. Martin for 3. Timberwolves keep it alive. Here's Smooth. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup. And while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call a foul shot or not, but sure enough they have. So we've got a couple of free throws coming up. And that's good as he hits both of his shots.
He's having a great game at the free throw line, Kevin. His hot streak continues.
Parker outside. The feed to Duncan. Working on Williams. Tries it from 9. Tried to bank it in, but he misses. Minnesota's gotten off 4 3-pointers in the final quarter, and 2 of them have fallen. Here's Smooth. Williams, a screen on Parker. Smooth passes to Williams. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Williams has got 10 points in the quarter. Boy, right down to the wire here, Clark and Steve. Still anyone's ball game.
Both teams really invested now. I mean, this is the type of game you love to win, and you'd hate to lose it.
Boy, after all this energy that both teams have expended, you're right, Clark. This would be a tough one to lose.
The Timberwolves trail. Outside, Martin. He kicks it to Pekovic. Back to Martin. Into Pekovic. The jump hook. That drops.
Those defenders look like they're out of gas. I mean, they're getting pushed around on the low bar.
Well, their energy is lacking. They've got to start playing harder and battle down in the paint.
And the Spurs with possession. Duncan. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. That one on Williams.
We've seen Tim Duncan getting it done. 8 rebounds, and also those active hands of his have led to a pair of steals.
Yeah, Clark, he's had a great presence defensively. He's thrown off their rhythm on several occasions. You can't say enough about his composure in big moments. He's as cool as they come, guys.
And Williams, here we go. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Williams has got 27.
Some defensive breakdowns are starting to show up now. Their last 4 buckets allowed have come from very close range.
Giving up these easy chances is going to do wonders for their confidence.
And that one's good. Parker's got 11 points here in just the second half.
You know, from that in-between range, they've actually been the much hotter team.
Well, when you make perimeter shots and knock down those jumpers, it opens up everything else.
Gets the bucket. 31 points for Smooth.
And that's 10 straight points in the paint. I mean, defensively, the wind has just been knocked out of their sails.
Need to get more bodies committed down low.
Parker kicks to Duncan. Outside, Green from past the arc. And good on the basket. Booking. 23 points in the game. And that bucket ignites the crowd.
Crucial bucket there, and you hear it in their reaction.
And you can feel the energy throughout this building right now. What a huge shot.
The pass to Smooth. Pekovic with a screen on Parker. 5 to shoot on the wing. Brewer for 3. Rebound San Antonio. Now here's Parker. 6 feet out. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Well, they did have a foul to give, but they couldn't get it done before the shot attempt.
Yeah, you really want to try to foul in that situation before he gets into the shooting motion, and it just didn't work out that time.
Nice work there. Steps up, knocks them down, and makes it a 2-possession game.
Outside, Mark buries it. And what a sensational bucket to bring them within 1.
That is a clutch shot if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, very gutsy there. What more can you say? He got it done at the best time.
And Derek Williams is going to pick up the foul. And so he's picked up his final foul, and he will sit for the rest of this game. Muhammad, he's checked in for Derek Williams. He drops the first one, and that will put them up by 2. And so he drops them both. It's a 3-point game.
Perfect time to be perfect at the line. Now only a 3 can tie it.
There's 21 seconds left in the 4th quarter. There's the screen. Kevin Martin on the wing. Shot off the screen. Offensive rebound. Pekovic passes to Smooth. He feeds it to Brewer. Off target from downtown. And that's an intentional foul.
San Antonio. Time. At the line for two.
So the first one drops, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. So he gets them both, and it's a 5-point game.
And that's exactly how you close a game out. Those free throws will bury them for sure.
And so it's San Antonio with the win. Both teams played well, but these guys had the edge.
Yeah, I think so. They were just steak knife sharp. Very on top of their game here.
Well said. That'll do it for now. For Doris Burke, Steve Curry, Clark Kellogg, and the rest of the 2K Sports crew,
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way.
Had to be tough not to get the win tonight with the way you played. Did you feel like your effort was enough, knowing that ultimately it led to a loss?
No, it wasn't enough. When you lose a game, that means that there's always something you could have done differently that might have changed the outcome. Maybe your stat line looks good, so it's not quite so obvious. But for example, tonight, I know I could have done a much better job on defense. I wasn't coming over to help as much as I could have. So there was definitely more I could have done. And that's the key after each game. Find out where you need to improve and focus on that the next time out.
Yeah, like J. Cole, it's my first time. Goddamn, man, she's so fine. She got a body and a sharp mind. Not a nine, she a straight dime. Short skirt and some high socks. She finished off with that crop top. She likes hip-hop and hard rock. She likes heavy drops, that's hot. I said I'm in it to win it, cause if I want it, I get it. Just give me time, we'll be sinning. Just give me time, I'll be swimming up in a diamond. I'm winning, pinning her down, and I'm in it, yeah. Oh man, my